Hi, and welcome to Connect Through Beauty. I am your host, Ashley Rivera, and I'm so happy that you have chosen to join our community. This has been such an amazing podcast, amazing journey, and it's just shined so much into my heart and into my soul. Every Tuesday, I get to bring you an interview with a beauty professional that's been out there that can help you level up, give you different perspectives. And every Thursday, we bring you a little shorty that gives you tips and tricks on how to continue that drive each day. And every day that you walk through the door, and every day that you go from one client to the next. That's what it's about. It's about closing that circle from mindset to skill set. You got this. I know that you do, and you've chosen to be here, and that's the most special thing. This industry has been made for you. It's made for me. It's made for all of us. We're all here for one reason, and I know that in your heart, you're ready to jump, and you're ready to take it to the next level. So keep staying connected, and have a fantastic day.
The good news is that stylists that hold their own with the retail end, you'll when you interview them, they'll tell you, once upon a time it was sticky and it was awkward and it was creepy, and I needed a coach to help me kind of unlearn whatever ideas I had about it that were in the way and kind of tripping me up. And then once I got that behind me, and my coach helped me to kind of gain a healthier perspective, so that really I reimagined it so it wasn't selling or salesy at all. It was really, just one more great experience that was part of the serving experience.
Mm.
And it helped me to not, it put a better, whether you want to call it taste in my mouth, taste in my heart. So it's not the issue. And then there's some other things that, you know, people that have kind of made the transition, I had to kind of not stay in my head. I was overthinking it. I was trying to second guess the clients I was serving. Can they or can they not afford it? Is this or is this not too expensive? And I had to just kind of let that go and just allow the conversation to unfold. And that if that was an issue, I'm going to leave that to my client to tell me, but I certainly am not going to try to second guess it. And there are some stylists that have made that transition, and they're going, oh, it's wonderful that it's in the rear view mirror. And
Mm.
now I'm able to not only have the conversation with integrity, but whatever retail goals, is set for me, for all intents and purposes, I can meet them, and it's not nearly the issue that it was.
Mhm.
And then there's a lot of hairdressers, they haven't made that transition yet, and they don't
Mhm.
even know that there is a transition.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that this conversation with you will help clear some of that up.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so too, because it's all in perspective, and it's all in your perspective. I think when I was behind
Yes.
the chair, that was the biggest challenge I had. I could upsell, I could talk about, low lights and highlights, and this is what we're going to do today, and all of these things, but I couldn't get past the retail spot. And until someone said to me, Ashley, you're selling everything else, right? And we can use that word right now because that is what you're doing. But but in in one way you are, in one way you're just educating, you're talking, you're just having a conversation, and that's what's getting you to upsell, right? So why are you not doing the same thing in retail? And that was my moment where I was like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I didn't look at it that way. I guess I am giving them this experience, but I'm not closing the circle. Totally.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It sounds like you had a light bulb moment when somebody pointed out whatever it
Definitely.
is that you needed to get pointed out. It got pointed out. You had the light bulb moment, and whatever struggles you had engaging clients in a conversation that involved products
Right.
that you were using, whether they're cleansing products, conditioning products. Sometimes we call them, liquid tools. That it just really, there was a grace in it and an ease
Mm.
that wasn't there before. But until you had those essential light bulb moments, it can get painful.
For sure. What's your advice on, like, I feel like you definitely are talking about these amazing light bulb moments, and it's so true. Like, every one of us has a moment where we just kind of click, and then we transition into another direction for the better.
Yeah.
But what if someone's sitting there and they're thinking, I never had a moment like that. How am I going to get there? How do I even begin to get there?
Well, as someone that first of all has been coached through the process, I was a student, my coach coached me through it. I had, two or three light bulb moments that kind of cleared the way for we'll call it the product part of the experience. And one of them was, I needed, when my coach, you said, you had a definable moment when you were being coached by somebody. One of my first definable moments is, uh, I, I, I was being coached on scripts. Somebody, the company has these scripts. Okay, say this, say that, state the benefit and stay away from the features, and say these things. And I was reading what, the script, the verbiage.
Yeah.
And I said to my coach, it feels like I'm manipulating people. It feels like
Mm.
I'm controlling them. And I just, that's what feels sticky to me. That it's that those words just aren't me. And if they were, because I'd been on the receiving end of those words, and I felt like I was being pushed, I was being manipulated. And my coach said something that really gave me a light bulb moment on steroids. And that was that Micheal, the scripts don't make the process manipulative.
Mm.
That it's not about the script, it's about your intention.
Mm.
So if I show up, with a client and I use this script, and the intention is to sell products to this client, if that's the intention, and especially if the intention is selling products to a client that I think can't afford them,
Mm.
that's now okay. Either it's manipulation or whatever you want to call it, but it's not the script that's manipulative, it's the intention. So get clear about what your intention is and what it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And if you struggle with selling, make sure that any ideas that you have about that I'm going to sell something to this person, set those ideas aside. That this is so not about selling, but looking at it's just one more conversation in the service experience.
Mm.
And it supports and it complements any of the other conversations you've had.
Mm-hmm.
And that the intention is to serve. The intention could be to help. If that's too vague, you could say, it's apparent that my client is having a wonderful experience in my chair as I'm bringing them through the service process. So, they love their color, and if you just kind of watch the client's face, they're lighting up. They
Mm.
love what they see, that whatever it is, I was creating on them, with them, for them. I
Yeah.
could see that they were having the experience of their life, and that the intention is, I want to make sure that when my client goes home, and I'm not doing it for them, doing their hair, putting it together for them,
Right.
nor, I'm they're going to be on their own. I want to do, say, show, teach anything I can to my clients so that when they go home, they can have a similar experience
Mm.
working with their own hair that they had when I was working with their hair, because I know that then they're going to have fun. They're not going to get bummed out. They're not going to get freaked out. And so my coach drops that on me, and that was a really, really big light bulb moment for me.
Mm.
And I remember saying to my coach, "Oh my God,
Mm.
I've never thought about it that way before."
Right.
And he says, "Now I know you're beginning to click. You're beginning to see the connection." So he would call it, what is, he wouldn't, first of all, he never used the word retail.
Mm.
He just it was just a word that was unnecessary. Is now it sounds like you're finding an honorable way, an integrative way of really talking about the product part of the experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was a language process, but it was a big, big, big moment for me. And as I became an educator, I carried that along with me because show me a hairdresser that struggles with this,
Mm.
and I will show you a hairdresser that's probably haven't gotten the intention behind the script figured out. You want your intention to be pure. You
Mm-hmm.
want your intention to be, helping, rather than selling. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. I love absolutely everything that you're saying. Um, and I think confidence too plays a ton into this. So how do you, or how did you, and how do you coach people on building the confidence to just do it on every single client? And when you get the no, it's okay, be confident enough to do it again.
Yeah, yeah, boy, there's a whole bunch to what you just said to there. So I'm going to maybe unpack a piece or two about it around that. Somebody that hears any response that sounds feel like no, is that they're embarrassed by it, or
Mm-hmm.
they feel, they don't know what to do, what to make of it. And so, I remember, again, I was one of those people that I had a real need that my clients, liked me, they had regard for me, they had, and any time that it sounded like or felt like they didn't, I'd get scared.
Mm,
Now, I might not have been as conscious of it then as I am now, but
sure.
that was, in retrospect, that was
Yeah.
my dilemma. So there was a couple things that were shared with me that really made that helped. They were light bulb moments.
Yeah.
One was, Micheal, pay real close attention that you're not overthinking this.
Mm,
As a matter of fact, my coach said, if you can, don't think about it at all.
mm,
So, what is, can they or can they not afford this? Do they look like they can afford it? Can't they look? Do they or do they not look interested?
mm.
Does it look like, or doesn't it look like they're going to say no? So I was in my head, I would call it, what ifing it, second guessing the process. And at first I thought my coach was saying, don't think these thoughts, think these other, don't think positive, don't think negative, think positive. And that's not what he was saying.
Sure.
He was saying, don't think.
Right.
Like, three of the most dangerous words you can say in this conversation is I've been thinking,
Sure.
because we think ourselves out of it. And I said, well, if I can't think, what am I supposed to do? Show up.
Mm,
You know what your intention is. I really want to do whatever I can do to ensure that my client's going to have an experience that's similar to the one they're having in real time, in actual time with me now. And I'm not going to go any further than that. And if my client, I'm going to leave it to life to, my client's either going to go, oh, great, or gee, I don't think so, or whatever it is. But I'll cross that bridge when we're there.
Sure.
And I found that just that helped. That was like, don't think, serve. Just I know what my role is, and that is to support, to teach, to encourage, to assure, and let the process unfold.
Yeah.
And that was huge, because I found that there were many, many times where I was surprised by the result.
Mm.
So there was a time in my head I would have bet anybody that my client was not going to be interested. They were going to say no. It was going to be embarrassing. And when I was able to just kind of table all that and not worry, not think if they could or they couldn't, but to show up and do my part, and that I also started believing that my client has a right to know this. They have a right to
Oh, I love that.
right to be taught this. And if they're not interested, they'll tell me. Or I could say, if you would like, we have a couple of moments. I can turn you on to a couple of things that I do that in the process that will go a long way to help you have as much fun
Mm.
with your hair as you seeing me have fun with your hair.
Oh,
Would you like me to? Because I'd be more than happy. And the overwhelming majority, oh my God, are you kidding? Yes.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, because that's most people would say when I get home, it's scary because I can't come close
Sure. Well,
to
I mean,
doing what I see you doing.
you're so right. I mean, I can't even count how many times I heard that from my clients before. If I could just take you home with me.
Yes.
No?
Yeah. And so these are all indicators, but I needed to be coached and mentored to stay out of my head.
Yeah.
And when it came to, there will be times when a client says, no, thank you, or for what, there'll be some sort of no response. I learned early on two things. One is we're both uncomfortable.
Mm.
So when a client refuses an offer, they're not only uncomfortable, but they think I feel uncomfortable. So you got two people that are
Mm.
uncomfortable because there was a no response. So my coach said, first and foremost, help them to feel comfortable about saying no to you.
Mm.
So this and I said, well, what do I say? Just say something like, hey, no worries. I'll mark down on on in my journal that we had the conversation. Should you decide differently, I want to really make sure that I remember that on your next visit that there were some things that we covered.
Right.
And all of a sudden, just saying that, I could just see my client's shoulders dropping, and it just kind of like it took the anxiety away. And I found that it went a long, long ways to take away any anxiety I had or my hurt feelings, taking it personal that, oh man, I thought you were going to say yes. And you said, no, I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed. And I wonder, don't you like me? I mean, it took all of that narrative out of my head, that self-talk.
Mm. Oh, I love that. So I love this conversation so much because I feel like it's just, I feel there's so much that goes into what we do, what service providers do behind the chair. And this is definitely another topic that is in addition to. And we have a lot of things that we deal with behind the chair emotionally, and like we were talking about, it's just a lot of it is your mindset and the way that you talk to yourself too. So you're learning like how to communicate with your clients and how, you're first out there, you're first on the chair, you're learning how to communicate with the clients, you're building your confidence. And now we're adding on the next layer with retail. And there's just a lot of things you also are getting to know about yourself as well.
Yeah, yeah. There's, as you were talking, there was, I'm from an era behind the chair that's a few eras ago, but as I continue to teach in the era that we're in now, I have never seen an era that was so ideal for the conversation that you and I are having now around the product part of
Mm,
the process. So you just look at, one of the words I hear a lot as of late is transformational looks.
mm,
Modern color, vivids on one end to balayage, foilage, blonding on the other, and those services. First of all, those looks
mm,
and those services not long ago were non-existent,
mm,
and now it's very much part of new normal. And
mhm,
when you really start understanding the process that stylists bring their clients' hair through to get those looks and the services that it takes, you're taking the hair to places that we never took the hair before. I mean,
mm,
when you start talking blonding, foilage, vivid, and you're lifting to the degree, and now we're using very very higher end restorative, we used to call them conditioning treatments. Now they're just
mm,
treatments
mm.
that and the investment
Yeah.
that a client is making to have those looks. And you look now at the technology put into the products that had to be put into them to really support the hair after being taken, the condition of the taking to the extreme. The,
Mm,
the product part has never been as big
mm,
as it is today. So I would feel like I was being a profound disservice if a client was, into a three-figure investment, and we took the hair to the place that we took the hair, to not have a conversation, a heads up conversation about
mm,
really, being mindful of what you're using, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, whatever that is, to feed your hair, cleanse your hair, restore your hair. Because if that loose end isn't tied down, you're just your hair doesn't deserve that.
yeah.
I talk about that. Your hair is having an experience, and when you can see that the experience your hair is having, you're going to have a likely experience. When your hair is happy, you're happy, right? So, and that's not a sales technique. I mean, that's
No.
very, 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 very real. So, part of integrity it now is the product, more now than ever before, is part of the experience.
Oh my.
And 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 that's going to go a long way, so that a week, 2 weeks, 3, 4 weeks from now, our clients, more now than ever before, are going to have the experience that they're having on the day they leave, because we've got, product with technology that supports that. So, we could continue to talk about this forever, but the bottom line, Ashley, is that, if a stylist today feels awkward, creepy, fearful about this, I would say continue to give yourself the opportunity to be on the receiving end of conversations like this, because really, we're for someone to be scared today about it, they're hallucinating, and they really want to be guided through the process so that that's not an issue anymore. That would be a terrible experience to have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love this conversation. Oh my gosh. I mean, what you're saying is so true. And what's happening out there, I see it with our stylists right now. I mean, they are like doing multiple steps on
Yes.
on hair right now, and it's absolutely beautiful work that is coming out. And you nailed it when you said you're doing the hair a disservice. You're doing them a disservice just for not even saying, just giving them the information. This is, you said, this is what, you're just telling them and educating them. This is what you need to continue the look that we created here today, which is amazing.
Oh,
You're
I
so,
mean,
the ticket prices are so big right now. I mean, they need
yeah, yeah, right. And so whatever investment a client would need to make on top of that ticket investment is going to be a very, very, very solid investment. I'm hearing language today, we're not just painting hair, but I hear words like hand painting. I hear we're not even referring to the hair as hair anymore. It's canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And that every time a hairdresser has a client that's interested in some form of transformational color, it's an opportunity for the hairdresser to make a very big personal artistic expression. It's almost as if, tattooing is really a big part of the new normal. I think when I look at balayage, hand painting hair, or putting vivid coloring, we're tattooing hair.
Mm.
And how a tattoo artist
Mm-hmm.
takes it's very, and they're putting their signature on it.
Right.
It's a creation. Every tattoo is its own creation by the artist. I'm seeing that with hairdressers now more than ever before, and part of the signature, if you will,
Mm.
is just as much of the product, because the tattoo artist is saying, I want this looking wonderful when you leave, but I want it to be looking as wonderful, you know,
Right.
in the future. So it's a very different consciousness today, and I think it serves the conversation that we're having now.
It's so good. Thank you so much. This is so good. Like, I mean, I feel like this is going to help so many people just kind of shift their minds a little bit in thinking about really the full service.
Yes, yeah. Well, if what happens to people that'll be listening to the podcast, what happens to the people that we coach happens to the people that are listening to this podcast, and they really take even a little bit of it to heart,
Yeah.
and try this, I think they're going to be surprised
Yeah.
by the experience that, oh my God, this is big. The last thing I want to say is I call it the truth test.
Mm.
And because there are some stylists that show up for this conversation, and there's so much resistance to it because it involves more money or whatever, that they have what I would call, and I can relate to it because I struggle with it, called ODD. They're very odd. And odd means oppositional defiant disorder.
Mm.
That I'm going to oppose this idea and be defiant against it, just because I love the energy of disagreeing and
Mm.
putting it, and it's like, you can get very stubborn about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've said to people is, well, give it the truth test, because my coach dropped that on me. Michael, give it the truth test. And I said, so, like, what's that? And he said, as you listen to me coaching you, if you can imagine that you're on the other side of this, and you ask yourself the question, if what I'm being told right now, if that really is the truth, and I was able to get a little bit more skillful and open about using the truth as my conversation, and it worked, would I be better off than I am now? In other words, would I feel better? Might I have a better number, a retail number? Would I could I get closer to my goal? And if the answer to the question is yes, I'm not asking you to, drink the Kool-Aid. I'm not asking you to sign on. What I'm asking you to do is then go out and test the truth. Test it.
I love that.
Test it for a week, or test it for 5 clients.
I love
Go
that.
into the conversation to really, I want to test this so that I can see or hear or feel for myself if this is true. But I'm going to go in it full on. I'm not going to go in skeptical. I'm going to go in, I don't want to go in agreeing, but I don't want to go in disagreeing. I'm just going to
Mm.
have an open mind and give it my best shot. And then if it's really the truth, you've heard the adage, if it's the truth, it'll set you free.
Oh, I love that.
Right? And the free is free of the fear, free of it feels creepy, free of I take it
Yeah.
personal when people say no. If it's really the truth, it'll set you free. And if it's not, you can always go back to,